Okay, so in this lecture, let's see how to deal with calendar. Okay, so let me take a website, path2usa.com plus travel companions. Yeah, so we have dealt with some flight websites where we get a calendar to select the date, right? So we have seen how to deal with drop downs, checkboxes, radio buttons, links, pop-up windows. But calendar is something where you need to open it and select a specific date or month. So how do we do that? So in this lecture, I'm going to explain the way we will handle the calendar. So that you can use that in your specific website, what you are automating there. Okay. So if you see here, date of travel, if I click here, I'll get the calendar. So I need to select a date, isn't it? Okay, so let's take an example. I want to select December 14th from the calendar. How can I do that? Right. So generally people will give the XPath of 14 directly to identify it. But tomorrow, when the calendar changes, when it turns to January, so you are still trying to click on, okay, let me give you one real-time example here. So you want to click on the current date, which is November 8th. Okay, so tomorrow you need to test on 16th. Okay, so you will give 8th XPath to click, but when you run on 16th, it will still click on November 8th only, because the XPath you have given identifies this as a unique address. Okay, let me inspect using a Firebug and show you that. So this is doing a randomly. When you do with an XPath, you will get a random. Okay, yeah. So basically you need to select current date, so which is November 8th. So you run a script on November 16th, but still it clicks on 8th only because you are asking to click there. So how do you click a specific date and specific month? Okay, if you just pass those two parameters, it should automatically open the calendar and select the date and month, whatever you have provided in the input of your test case. Okay, so we will see that. Okay, so let me go back to my Eclipse and create a new class for you. Calendar. Okay, right click. What happened? New class. So when you are dealing with travel websites, you will come across this calendar mostly. Not only in the travel, so maybe even if you work in the banking website and if you want to set up some automatic payments, you need to go through that. Okay, so this is the common scenario you will see across. Okay, so let me start with my Chrome driver because I want to run my test in Chrome. Okay, so this is where my Chrome driver lies, and I can give web driver equals to new Chrome driver. So that's good. We can invoke the browser with these details, and thereafter I'll provide driver dot get the website name. So the website name here is path2usa.com. Oops. Okay, so once you land on this website, so I will provide month name and date name. That's it. So whatever the date and month I provide, this test case should go and click on that. Okay, so let's develop step by step. Firstly, let's target selecting the date. Thereafter we will come into the month. Okay, so in real time also, if someone gives us a task, we need to break down that into multiple chunks. Okay, don't try to achieve everything on a single shot. First we will pick out date, and let's see how can we click on the specific date which is provided as an input. All right, so let me go back to my browser, and first you need to select on this. to open this pop-up. So let's quickly write the XPath of that and open the window. So before we do anything, we need to open that window, right? So I will simply say driver.xpath, click, done. Now, okay, so let's say I want to select a day of August 23rd. Okay, let's select this date. Okay, so in this case, better you do CSS because we need to get some common object across all the dates. Okay, if I put CSS and if I spy on 23rd, you see that every date, whatever it is displaying here, has class name as a day. If you see 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay, so all the days here have the common class name day. Okay, that doesn't mean that every calendar in every website have the same class name. That might be different. So I'm going to, I'm trying to explain the concept of how to write a generic function to identify the date. Okay, using this concept, you can apply same methodology in the different website. Okay, tomorrow the class might be different. When you are working in your website, in your project, the class might be different. So just grab the concept from the lecture in identifying the unique date and use that across whatever website you are working on. So in this particular website, the class name is day. So this is common to every date. So that's why you see when I say class name day, all the dates are selected. But I'm interested in the specific date which I passed through input of my test case. Okay, so if you carefully observe, okay, I am interested in 23rd, right? Okay, so August 23rd, let's say, is our inputs. Okay, so we know that class name is day for all the dates here. So I want to take all the dates into one list. So I can simply say driver dot find elements. Okay, so find elements by dot class name. So what I'm saying here, go and find all the elements which have class name dot d, and I'll throw all them into one list, so that I can iterate through each and every item into the list and compare that is that item equals to 23rd. If it is, go and click on it. Okay, this is what we are trying to achieve here. Web element dates. Okay, so you know that return type, you will get an error here because we are expecting some list here, not only single web element. So that's why it's asking change type to list, because we are getting here list of web elements, not a single element, because there's a plural here. We are grabbing all the elements. Okay, so I will now put a for loop and travel through each and every item in the list. So let's see that for int I equals to 0, I less than. So how many times I want to go through that loop till each and every item is compared. So that means we need to know firstly how many items are present in it. For that, you can simply say driver dot find same thing dot size. So this gives the whole the items which are present on the class name d. I'll say int count. So that I'll say I equals to 0, I less than till the count. Okay, till that number. So iterate till that number, I plus plus. Perfect. Now, so this is my for loop, and now let's go to each and every item in this list. So how to do that? Remember, we have done this in our previous lecture when we are talking about iterating. So you can write this multiple times or use this entire sentence into one variable, and you can refer to that. So dot get. So this get, if you pass 1, it will return the first element of that list. If you pass 2, it will return the second element. So I'll pass I, because the loop starts with 0, 1, 2 until that count maximum number of the elements present in it. So every time, for example, when I say get of 0, the first item will be into this list. What is that first item here? Okay, if you see dot day, you see the 30. This is the first item, and this is second item, third item, fourth item. So your control will be on the first item when you say get of 0. The control will be on second item when you say get of 1. Okay, so each and every time the control will go through every item, right? So once you are in that item, basically you need to grab the text present in that item and compare with your expected value. If both matches, then we are going to click on it. Okay, now how to grab the text which is present in that item? It's simple, dot get text, isn't it? Get text will actually help us to grab that item. So yeah, so here 30 will be written. Yeah. So I would put something like string text. Okay. Now if text dot, this should be equals, so is the text which I grabbed from here, which is 30, is it equal to the number what you are expecting to pass? Let's say I am expecting to pass 23. If both are equal, then go and click on that specific item. Okay, this is the item. So first 30 will be here. Is 30 equals to 23? No. So it skips that and the loop continues. So it keep on continuing, and when it comes to 23, here at this loop, as we are grabbing the text here, so 23 equals to 23. In that case, go and click on that 23 index, which is nothing but this one. We will get that, we will grab, and now go and click on it. Okay, so if it is present in 19th index, firstly I will be 19. So find element class name dot get of 19 text, which is 23. So I need to click on that 19th index. So as I is 19, I am again saying find elements class name get of 19 dot click. So it will exactly go and click on that index, which is 23. Okay, so that's how. Once we find that, we don't want to continue the loop because our target is achieved, right? We have successfully found 23, and we need not go again to each and every iteration after that. It's not required for us. So in that case, just say break. So this will come out of entire for loop, isn't it? So if there are total 100 items in the count, and if you find it in the very first shot, why do you want to again iterate 99 times to waste your execution time? So simply you will give break. That will come out of your for loop. And this is one of the good method for optimizing the test cases. Alright, so this is step 1. Okay, we have not yet achieved everything. Here we tried to click on a date which we passed as a input. Okay, we are not hard coding anything, or we are not identifying the date with the help of XPaths. So we are taking whole list, and based upon the input we passed, it should go and click. Okay, so let me run this test and see how it goes.